there's a lot of articles and social media news floating around saying that you could potentially be negotiating with Terence Crawford directly for a main fight. Any truth to that?
No, I'm working in other things. Now I'm enjoying my family. I'm not talking about boxing yet. So maybe in January we're gonna start doing that.
Where do things stand with Turkey? Turkey said he would like to open a line of communication with you. No middlemen, just you and him. And
I never say no to business. So if it is a business for me, I'm open to talk, no matter what.
Anything else for Chula Vista?
No, thank you everybody from Chula Vista. Thank you for your support.
In a major development in the boxing world, Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford have officially agreed to face each other in a super middleweight bout scheduled for September 2025 at Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas, Nevada. This announcement has generated immense excitement among boxing enthusiasts, as it brings together two of the sport's most accomplished fighters.
Fight fans, some breaking news. This guy, Julius Julianis, who's an ESPN Knockouts reporter, is reporting that the fight isn't only about to be announced, but the contracts are signed between none other than Canelo Alvarez and Bud Crawford. In Julianis' report, he claims that this fight has been signed, sealed, delivered, and it's going down this September in Las Vegas. We know Canelo was in London for the Ring Magazine Awards with Turki Al-Sheikh, seemingly shaking hands as business partners. And just today, as a few hours ago, Bud Crawford landed in London and was seen with Turki Al-Sheikh this September. It's official. What are your thoughts? This headline is all the details the Ring Magazine put out about 2 hours ago. Canelo Alvarez and Bud Crawford, the fight is off. Guys, are they just messing with us for real? Because this is 48 hours removed from them reporting the location. First ever stadium fight, Allegiant Stadium. Even though the fight was 7 months away in September, this in everybody's eyes was going on. And then all of a sudden, the Ring Magazine, Turki Al-Sheikh, releases this with no other details. Canelo Alvarez and Bud Crawford in September is off.
The agreement for this high-profile match was finalized in January 2025, setting the stage for a historic showdown. Canelo Alvarez, the undisputed super middleweight champion, holds an impressive record of 62 wins, 2 losses, and 2 draws, with 39 victories coming by knockout. His opponent, Terence Bud Crawford, boasts an unblemished record of 41 wins with 31 knockouts and is a current undisputed welterweight champion. This bout marks Crawford's move up to the super middleweight division as he aims to further cement his legacy by challenging Alvarez.
Let's talk Canelo, Crawford, Jake Paul again. Let's try and give a timeline of events. So on Tuesday, Ring Magazine confirmed that Canelo Crawford was on for September 13th, Raiders Stadium. That's what we got on Tuesday. On Wednesday, we started hearing whispers of Jake Paul. It sounded crazy at the time. I did a video on it. I said that's impossible. But then those whispers became louder and louder and louder. On Thursday, Ring Magazine reported that Canelo Crawford was off. Thursday evening, so just after me and G-Man had filmed, we got reports that Jake Paul versus Canelo, or Canelo versus Jake Paul, was very much a real thing and was close to being signed off, and that would have happened on Netflix. About 2 hours later, we got confirmation that Canelo versus Jake Paul is now not a thing and is off, and that Canelo has signed a 4-fight deal with Riyadh Season, and Turkey went on social media talking about he's the lion and don't mess with the lion and things like that, which I thought was quite funny. Canelo versus Crawford is now back on, and that will happen in September. Canelo versus Jake Paul is now off and won't happen for at least another couple of years. Yeah, I think that's where we are.
In recent developments, Jake Paul has criticized Canelo Alvarez's decision to sign a 4-fight deal with the Riyadh Season, which led to the cancellation of a potential bout. Paul accused Alvarez of only facing selected opponents, including Terence Crawford, due to public pressure. He claimed that Alvarez is now a slave to Riyadh Season, implying that financial incentives influence his choice to avoid more competitive fights.
This fucking YouTuber, I just fight
real fighters.
Time to expose them. So we had a signed contract to fight. Here you can see Canelo's signature and my signature to the right. Claiming he's not fighting YouTubers. Bullshit. Look at the poster. We were announcing Tuesday, February 11th. Claiming he fights real fighters, but he's fighting Crawford, a 135-pound fighter, and running from a real fighter like David Benavidez, you bitch. The truth is you can be bought. You're a money-hungry squirrel chasing your next nut. The truth is these sports-washing shady characters are paying you hundreds of millions of dollars to stop our fight from happening because they couldn't fathom the fact that they can't create a bigger fight than me and you. Al Heyman has made you hundreds of millions of dollars and you turned your back on him for this check. Disloyal. And you were begging to do this fight on pay-per-view. But I have loyalty. Loyalty to Netflix, doing the biggest numbers. And you call me a YouTuber, but you've never had a boxing match as big as mine. Remember you told my team that your daughter came home and asked if you were fighting Jake Paul? She was all excited. You said that was the first time your daughter's ever asked you about a fight. And you're screwing over all your Mexican fans by doing your fights in Saudi. It just shows what type of person you are. And I promise you one thing, Canelo. Any fight that you do this year, mine will be bigger. So go fuck off to your boss, you Ring Magazine employee, you pink and orange bitch. And oh, fix...
At a recent press conference in Las Vegas, Canelo Alvarez delivered a stern message to Terence Crawford, emphasizing his dominance in the super middleweight division. He stated, "This is my territory. Crawford is a great fighter, but stepping into my division is a different task. I'm ready to show why I'm the winner here." Alvarez's confidence underscores his determination to defend his titles against a formidable opponent moving up in weight class.
Honestly, I mean, he might not be able to bridge it on Saturday.
Yeah.
So,
one weight class.
68, yeah, but you're coming up from 35, 35, 40, 47, 54. Sooner or later, it's one too many. And 68 is definitely too many. But Crawford's brilliant. Like he's a genius. He's a generational great. So maybe he can find a way to do it. But I feel he'd be hugely outsized against Canelo Alvarez. Yeah. But you have to use your movement. If you're Terence Crawford in that fight, the last thing you want to do is stand and trade. He'd be moving a lot in that fight, trust me. I'm not saying he'd be running, but he would be moving a lot. Of course, that's the way to beat him. Yeah, you know.
Canelo Alvarez, known for his power and tactical flexibility, is widely regarded as one of the best pound-for-pound fighters in the world. On the other hand, Crawford, a 4-division world champion, brings speed, precision, and adaptability to the ring. This clash of styles and elite skills has fans buzzing with excitement, as it promises to be one of the biggest boxing events of the year.
Said that he moved up and won, and Canelo moved up and lost.
They talk all the crazy stuff about me going up and having a tough time, but he went up in weight and lost. That's the difference. I went up weight and won.
I don't think that was a strong point because Canelo Alvarez actually moved up and won. I mean, he moved up a lot of weight classes, but if you want to talk about light heavyweight, he moved up and he beat Kobe. Then he moved up again and he lost to Bivol. Terence Crawford, on the other hand, he moves up to 154. He won 115, 113, but it was against an 11-0 Madrimov who didn't really have much of a resume, right? But there's a difference, to be real. I mean, Bivol is a Hall of Fame. Okay, this guy, you know, all-time light heavyweight. It's a bit different. Canelo did knock out Kovalev when he did move up. Okay, and Kovalev is a bigger challenge at light heavyweight than Madrimov at 154 for Terence Crawford. Let's just keep it up.
Canelo Alvarez remains a dominant force in the super middleweight division. With a career record of 60 wins and 2 losses, he has consistently proven his ability to excel at higher weight classes. His combination of power, speed, and experience makes him a difficult opponent for anyone. Former world champion Shawn Porter has raised concerns about how Terence Crawford will handle Canelo's punching power. Given Canelo's reputation for delivering devastating blows, Porter questioned whether Crawford can withstand such force, especially considering the significant jump in weight classes. These concerns reflect broader apprehension about Crawford's ability to handle the physical demands of facing a naturally larger and stronger opponent.
No, that's 2 more weight classes. Like, once he gets touched by Canelo, it's going to be different.
I am concerned about him absorbing a Canelo punch, especially through the course of 12 rounds. We do know this about Canelo. He's going to slow down, you know, so I think if anything, Canelo would try to start fast and bang on him and break him down before he gets later, and he's still got that kind of steam. But, you know, there's so many components that make a champion. There's so many components that make a great, a legend. It's just so much to go into. It's a conversation that lasts an hour easily when we talk about all of the components that Terence Crawford has, all of the components that Canelo have, and how we find how they even out and who trumps one another. You know what I mean? We tried to do that with Errol Spence and Terence Crawford, and we see how that panned out. You know what I mean? So,
former 4-division world champion Mikey Garcia has shared his thoughts on the upcoming super middleweight bout between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford. Garcia believes that Canelo's size and power could be the deciding factors in the fight. While he acknowledged Crawford's exceptional skill set, he pointed out that a significant size difference might pose a serious challenge. Garcia noted that Alvarez has been competing at 168 pounds, whereas Crawford recently moved up to 154 pounds and experienced some difficulties.
They're too many weight classes apart. And although the skills, Crawford is one of the best fighters that I've seen. Now, Canelo is, fighting at 168. Crawford just moved up to 154, and he had some trouble with that in that fight. Now, where do you plan on going? 164, 65, 66? Yeah. Canelo ain't gonna come down to 160.
Yeah,
Canelo ain't gonna come down, maybe 166 max if he accepts. Yeah. I think Canelo wins that fight based on just the size, power and size. Now, skill-wise, I think Crawford is a better skilled fighter, but the difference in size will be the deciding factor, and that's why I'm not even a fan of that fight. I think Crawford has accomplished everything he had to accomplish. From 140, 147, now 154. That's even great for him. He wants to do something, collect belts at 154. He can attempt that. But there's no money in that compared to the Canelo fight. And Canelo is trying to fight other guys, and at that point, it's more of a big fight, for the money that's gonna generate. But as a fight fan, I'm not really a fan of that matchmaking. I'd rather see Canelo move up and fight somebody like Bitterbeef or Bivol again. Yeah. If he wanted to challenge himself, move up to 175 again, and challenge himself against those guys.
Yes.
Against those guys.
Yeah.
Not a smaller guy moving up.
Joel Diaz expressed strong confidence in Canelo Alvarez's ability to overcome Terence Crawford. While Diaz acknowledged Crawford's status as one of the best pound-for-pound fighters in the world, he emphasized Canelo's unique skill set and thorough preparation. He believes Canelo has what it takes to rise to the occasion and meet Crawford's challenge head-on.
Canelo, no problem. I mean, I respect that. But I just think they're stupid. I mean, excuse my language. The size difference of a bigger man changes every one punch. And I can see the same thing. I mean, you saw Canelo fighting American. Now, look at this. Terence Crawford moved from 47 to 54 to fight Madrimov. What did he do to Madrimov? Nothing. Okay, Madrimov was a 54-pounder. Now, to move up to 168, that's two more divisions. Canelo Alvarez will take any punch from Crawford, but I don't think Crawford will take any punch from Canelo. Remember, Canelo got hit by Triple G, the heaviest hitter in that division. And Canelo shot like a champ. I don't think Crawford has anything to beat Canelo.
Former world champion Demetrius Andrade believes that while Crawford is an exceptional fighter, Canelo's size and experience at higher weight classes give him a clear edge. Andrade suggests that Crawford might struggle with both the power and agility of Canelo. Terence Crawford is facing a major challenge as he prepares to move up 2 weight classes to take on Canelo Alvarez. In his last fight, Crawford competed at 154 pounds, securing a hard-fought decision victory over Israel Madrimov. While he showcased his skill and adaptability at that weight, jumping to the super middleweight division presents an entirely different test. At 168 pounds, Crawford will face opponents who are not only heavier but also naturally stronger and more accustomed to fighting at that size.
Say, I want Canelo. Is there anybody in the camp that would say, you're not ready for this?
That's a big boy. He's strong. That's a conversation. It's not just, oh man, you will whoop his ass.
Yes, man type stuff.
I'm not worried about Canelo. I'm not thinking about Canelo. I'm just focused on Israel Majumdar.
In a small way, is this a stepping stone to your dream fight?
I don't look at fights as stepping stones.
Unlike his previous fights, where his speed, precision, and technical prowess gave him the edge, facing a physically dominant fighter like Canelo could neutralize some of those advantages. Canelo's power, durability, and experience in the division add to the challenge, forcing Crawford to rethink both his strategy and conditioning. The leap in weight class will be a defining factor in Crawford's performance against one of boxing's most formidable champions. Moving up to super middleweight to face Canelo is a major leap, and the associated challenges include adjusting to the increased power and physicality of opponents in this heavier division. While Crawford's technique and skill are exceptional, questions remain about whether his power and stamina will effectively translate at super middleweight.
Three times, if you go 154 and win the belt, that's 3 times super. Then I said, chase super greatness. Come on, Canelo, 160.
Well, if he can get in there with Charlo in like his next 2 fights where he's still got age on his side, then maybe go up again. Like if he's trying to chase the greatness. But I mean, he already done something that's never been done. Charlo don't want none of that smoke.
Made it clear. Do fights like that help your legacy, or do you feel like that's something that's not worth it to you?
Everything in my career, every fight make my legacy different and better. No, Terence Crawford is a great fighter. He's a good fighter, but you know, like I say, he's weight classes for a reason. I'm focused 100% on Berlanga, and you never know what happened.
Yeah.
Robert Garcia has also shared his thoughts on the upcoming fight, leaning toward a Canelo Alvarez victory. Although he hasn't provided an in-depth analysis, his prediction aligns with a majority opinion that favors Canelo. Garcia believes that if Terence Crawford chooses to fight Canelo, it will likely be motivated by the massive payday the bout offers. According to Garcia, Crawford has already accomplished enough in his career to secure both his legacy and financial future. Therefore, he doesn't necessarily need to continue fighting. But if the bout happens, Garcia sees Canelo as a likely winner.
Just want the opportunity, to fight the best fighter in my generation that's out there. He's the most accomplished fighter, and I would just like to, fight another great.
Which is a very noble reason. I mean, it's a reason that I can get behind. If you notice, his primary reason isn't money. He did say it'll be the biggest fight, which, you do want a big fight, but I don't think he meant monetarily, which the money comes, okay? But what he's saying is he want to test himself versus the best. And I think he's telling the truth here, right? Of course you want big money and stuff like that, but I think his swan song is just him test himself up against the very best. Those are the reasons the war room can get behind.
The Alvarez versus Crawford fight is shaping up to be a landmark event in boxing history. Alvarez's experience and dominance in the super middleweight division will be tested against Crawford's agility, technical prowess, and undefeated record. Fans and analysts alike are eager to see how Crawford adapts to the higher weight class, and how Alvarez handles an elite opponent of Crawford's caliber.
Smart bet on Crawford Canelo. Canelo by knockout or Canelo by decision?
Crawford by decision. And you have to bet?
Yes.
I say Canelo by decision. Crawford by decision. No, but you say Canelo by knockout or Canelo?
Yeah, no, because I'm saying that's what's going to happen. Canelo's going to beat him. But which one?
I don't know, man. Crawford is fucking gangster. I've always been saying, I think Canelo at the end, obviously, his strength, his weight,
experience
probably takes over. But shit, I wouldn't be surprised if Crawford just fucking boxes and fights smart and beats him.
He's probably going to be 40-1 underdog or something crazy like that, right? It's not going to be close.
No, it's going to be close.
3 weight class?
Maybe 3-4-1. No crees?
Nah.
It's not going to be that big of a deal. No.
When you pick the knockout? No, when you pick the knockout?
You pick a knockout. But if it's just...
who wins straight out?
I think it's going to be maybe 3-1, 4-1. Maybe that's too much. Maybe 2-1. Maybe 2-1.
I don't think so.
I'm telling you,
So they finally announced Ryu's fight, Gary Russell. What do you think? Not easy fight? No easy fights at this level?
That's just...
It's going to be, finally you guys will be, the first time you're ever going to a Tank fight, right? To work a corner?
To work a corner at Tank's fight?
Is Tank's the main event?
Yeah.
Do you agree that Canelo's size and power will overwhelm Crawford in the later rounds? Or do you believe Crawford's skill and strategy can take him to victory? Drop your thoughts in the comment below.
You know what I'm saying? Floyd, it was Floyd. It didn't gonna be Terence Crawford. You know what I'm saying? Well, that's what's on the line with that fight, right? Canelo and Terence is whose era is it? Right?
Nah. I think Canelo had his time.
Yeah, Canelo had his time. Yeah.
Just gonna submit our time.
Yeah, for sure.
What made Bomac such a great trainer?
He can adapt to any style, bro. Like, he can adapt to any style. First of all, DB3, we all got different styles. And he all been making this better in our own style. He got Troy Eisen. Troy Eisen is a different style. You know what I'm saying? Shoot, he got Avius Griffin. Avius Griffin is a different style. Of course, y'all know Jamel Herring and Terence Crawford. All different styles. And he make these fighters great. He can adapt to any style. You know what I'm saying? That's what makes him a great